All right, Farm for Profit podcast wrapped edition. Since all three of us are married, we probably shouldn't have first dates to tell you about. So we're going to tell you about the guests that we had on the podcast. It's 78 episodes, almost split 50-50 right down the middle. We did have one emergency show that we put in there about the Russians invading Ukraine. Otherwise, it was split 50-50. Nearly 30% of our audience came from TikTok, right from here. And I would argue, though, the other 21% you see from Instagram, yeah, probably also TikTokers that we didn't have following us, so we had to go to Instagram to slide into their DMs, but some personal acquaintances, and then obviously you guys as listeners shared a bunch of names. That was much appreciative. Keep that up in 23. Only 25% of our guests were female, but when you look at our Farm for Fun shows, that number was much higher, closer to 34, I believe. Maybe women just like to have a little bit more fun. When we had more than one guest on at a time, most of the time it was two dudes. I know girls usually get up and go to the bathroom together. Maybe guys just come on the podcast together. But I think our wives are pretty excited that the only time we had more than one girl on the podcast was pretty infrequent. A lot of guests came right here from Iowa. Nearly 60% of our guests came from the Midwest. So I think during 2023, we want to expand outside of the 27 states that we already had guests from, especially in the Midwest. But I probably had more fun learning about the agriculture that came out of the other 40%. We had a couple Canadians, so we had some outside of the U.S., but ultimately, most of them came in the Midwest. If you see one of these people in here, make sure you tag them below. We need to say thank you. And if you want to be a guest for next year's Farm for Profit podcast, make sure you comment below, send us an email, whichever it takes, and we'll see if we can get you on. But thanks again for supporting us in 22, and here's to a great 2023.